Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is you're coming from. Thank you so much for joining. So excited to be here today with Danielle Shepherd from Only Human. Danielle is the head of partnership and growth at Only Human. If you don't know who Only Human is, then clearly you haven't been watching my channel because I'm all about these people. I have the Only Human swag. I love the swag. Danielle's got the swag too. I love it. This is an interview with Only Human with Danielle and just kind of talking about the company, her journey, where she's come from, and just really kind of highlighting the amazing humans that you all are over there. So thank you so much for joining, and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Adam, for having me on. All of the people that you have connected us to as well, and then the good that you're doing in the world and sharing your story with our community. We really appreciate that. Super
Thank
cool.
you. That means so much. So speaking of that, right, like Toy Quest 101, I
Yeah.
know that you all partnered with them. I just interviewed Kathy from Autism Edit, and I know she just did,
Yep.
I think today she did an Instagram Live with you all.
Yep. This
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah, it's a small community, right? The world is huge, but it's a small community.
Absolutely. And it's so cool to see good humans and humans that want to advocate with different causes and communities to come together and to be able to do that. And then to have platforms that we can all utilize and work together to educate people as well. So
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things I always talk about is just connecting with each other. We need to connect as many humans as possible, educate each other and just kind of spread awareness, spread love, spread acceptance and hope, and, all the good words that we all love. So speaking of the large community that's kind of small, Only Human has over 82,000 Instagram followers, which is pretty incredible. I feel really good with my couple thousand, but you all have 82,000, which is pretty amazing. And I know you're a huge part of that. So we can't really, I feel like, talk about the company without talking about you. So if you don't mind, maybe just give me a little bit of your background and your story, and maybe just how you ended up there.
absolutely. So I am one of those people that has a very different educational background from the route of a career that I decided to take. So I got my undergraduate degree from Baylor, grew up in Texas, and did that in psychology, but then had the aspirations of, oh, I want to go to medical school. I was pre-med, I want to do that. Did some shadowing experiences and was like, no, that's not for me.
Not for me.
Um, so I applied to go to grad school, and I actually did my graduate degree at West Virginia University in biomedical sciences. So really heavy science research base. And then I taught at the university level. Then I started my own homeschool, moved out here to Arizona, did that for a few years where I taught at the K to 12 education level. And that's when I showed up to a volunteer event where we were making peanut butter sandwiches for those that are unhoused in our community through a local organization here. And Only Human was hosting an event. I had followed them on Instagram, which, funny enough, it was one of my grad school colleagues and best friends that said, hey, you moved out to Phoenix and this company is there and they do all these really cool things. You should check them out. And so I did. Then I showed up, and it kind of has just completely grown from there. The first thing I did was became an advocate for the company. Just worked with them, amped up the messages of the nonprofits that they were working with at the time. And then I started to go and travel to events when we had those in real life for them. And we did a lot of tabling events and just fell in love with the mission and working on that, and asked, how can I help? And they're like, well, let's explore could look like for people outside of the company. So as a contractor, and then just in February, my role grew exponentially. I took that leap took a full-time position with Only Human, and now I just get to do the most incredible things every day, working with our nonprofit partners, working with our corporate partners and businesses that want to give back and do more good in the community, and then of course working with our human impact partners and the people that I get to talk to about their stories and how can we share these stories and really educate the community and utilize the platform. And so I think I have the best job in the company, but I think all of the team here really does believe that, you know, their role is like, they're just so tailored to our inherent abilities and interests, and they really align with each of our individual values, the roles that we play. So it makes work a whole lot of fun, especially when you get to come in here and do it with some of your best friends as well. So
Wow, so you've had a very interesting background and a journey to this company. You were
yeah,
talking about all the science stuff and everything, and I was like, where is this going? Like,
yeah,
that's wow. And you've lived all over the country.
I
You've
have.
studied in different fields. You've worked in different fields. And yeah, it's wild. We were kind of talking about that earlier, right? How small the world is. Like you went out there, got connected with somebody that connected you to this company, and now you're working with this company.
Yep,
That's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool. So
exactly.
yeah, so congratulations, right?
Thank you.
February, not too long ago, just started with
Yeah.
that. And you're, for my limited purview of things, you're really amazing, at least at what you do from what I've seen. I reached out to you, you responded back so quickly and sent me like the most thorough email ever back, and just like highlighted all the points and talked about everything. And it's just been phenomenal working with all of you, and you in particular. You're the person I've been working with back and forth. So I thank you for that, for all the ease of all of this. And for me, it's a really nice thing when a company or an organization says, hey, we want to connect people and we want to educate people and we want to just build this a better community and a better world. And you reach out to them and then they actually follow through, and they connect people, because that's what you've done with me. Like when it came to the Instagram takeover of the account the other day, which was so amazing, and I had so much fun doing that. From that kind of takeover, I had people that joined that have now connected with me and said, hey, like, can we set up something together? So just by going through this, I've met so many incredible humans already. So I think what you all do is just one of the coolest, and a good word I think is maybe important. One of the most important things that we can do right now, when the pandemic shut the world down, I think something, at least me personally, my wife, I know, my close friends, we all said to each other, like, I'm missing being able to hug somebody. I'm missing being able to be face to face with a friend and have a conversation without having to worry about things and be fearful and all this kind of stuff. So I think we're slowly getting back to that now in the world. And honestly, I think Only Human is such a huge part of bringing people together and connecting people again. So once again, thank you so much for everything that you all do. So getting into, your kind of position in the company, maybe talk a little bit about like, what is your, I'm sure it's different every day with what you do, but what does kind of a day-to-day look like for you?
Yeah, so for me, it's a lot of emails. I never thought in my life that I would spend as much time on social media as I do now, as part of my job and corresponding with people. But getting to do Zoom calls with nonprofits where I can talk to their executive directors and I can say, what are the things that you have going on? How can we help you? Who are the people in your community that we can amplify their messages? How can we do more together? And what do those opportunities look like? And to just be able to explore that with those nonprofit partners is outstanding. I would say the majority of the time I'm answering emails, or I am in Zoom meetings where we are making those connections, whether I am talking to business leaders, diversity and inclusion, people within a company, on how we can work together either to provide volunteer opportunities for their corporation, or to provide some sort of workshop for their leadership team. Just how can we do more good in the world? How can we fill people up? How can we help them to get to a space where they can align their values and then also take action on that? Because having the conversations is a step. That's a step. But then being able to get out there and to do that and have a tangible way of making a difference is really kind of what we like to inspire our community to do, to give back. And we have amazing community members, a ton of advocates all around the world. So it allows for that ripple effect of being able to have a conversation with you, and then inadvertently you get connected to all of these awesome humans that are like all about, hey, Adam, let's have this conversation, let's do this thing, and then let's do a call to action on how people can get involved and get out there. So I think that that's super unique, and one of the things that we really love to cultivate within our company as well.
That's incredible. You touched on something that I'm a big believer in personally, which is having the conversation is definitely a huge step. But then what comes after that? What is the follow through? And I like that you all are so strongly focused on that follow through and getting people together and bringing corporations and companies and nonprofits and whatever it may be together and doing events and things like that. So it's like the conversation is step one, but then, what does come after that? And I love that you have that kind of focus in the next step. So
one more thing is, that's what I love about your channel too, is that you're not afraid to have those conversations. And one of the things that we've learned over the past few years as we've been growing is that sometimes people are afraid of those conversations, and they're afraid because they don't know how someone's going to respond, or they don't want to offend someone. But it's more about normalizing it. How do you and I have a conversation about our mental health, that if I'm struggling, I can come to you and I can say that, and I don't feel like you're going to judge me. It's a normalization of those topics of conversation to know, what are your pronouns? That's a simple question. What are they? Right. And then that way I can refer to you properly. But those things are such kind of things that are put back in society when we're looking at society as a whole about the things that we talk about. And we don't necessarily feel the most comfortable having conversations about our mental health or our disabilities, whether visible or invisible. And I think that bringing those conversations is super important, because the more you talk about it, the more it feels like it's something you can talk about in any kind of space. So that's important as well.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually, what you just said reminded me, Instagram just made an update where you can put pronouns on your profile now. So how cool is that, right?
So if you haven't done that, you just download the new version.
I did. Did you all watching it out there do it? I did.
Yeah, so that's a cool thing, and you'll see a lot of people within the LGBTQ community have that, because there are a lot of non-binary folks, there are a lot of trans folks. And the thing about it that's important is for everyone to do it. That way you're no longer assuming someone's gender. And the way that they identify their gender identity and their gender expression are two completely separate things. So it's that ability to understand that and normalize having those pronouns. That way everybody is referred to how they would like to be referred to.